Right now at 4 o'clock, we're following several breaking news stories. One about a Charlotte toddler killed on Christmas Eve. Another about a teenager in Statesville possibly held captive after her mother is murdered. But first, the actress a generation came to know as Princess Leia has died.
Carrie Fisher had been hospitalized after suffering a heart attack while flying from London to Los Angeles last Friday. She had been in stable condition, but as Kurt Gregory reports, the 60-year-old passed away earlier today.
Carrie Fisher was born in 1956 into entertainment royalty, the daughter of pop singer Eddie Fisher and actress Debbie Reynolds. At the age of 15, appearing as a singer in Broadway's Irene alongside her mother. Her film debut was in 1975 in the comedy Shampoo.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But just 2 years later, Fisher blasted off to stardom in Star Wars.
I love you.
She would return as Princess Leia Organa in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, sharing her time on movie sets and on Broadway. But behind the curtain, Fisher battled years of drug dependency and scandal. In 1983, she married singer Paul Simon, but the marriage ended just 8 months later. Fisher turned to writing, publishing her first novel in 1987, Postcards from the Edge. In all, writing 7 books, working on dozens of plays for screen and stage, in between roles on the big and small screen. She wrote and starred in Wishful Drinking on Broadway.
I am the Pez dispenser, and I'm in the abnormal psychology textbook. Who says you can't have it all?
The one-woman show examined her life as a child in Hollywood, growing up in the glare of the spotlight, battling addiction and her fight against bipolar disorder. The book adaptation would go on to become a New York Times bestseller. In the past 2 years, Fisher came back to the story that made her famous, reprising her role of Princess Leia in both Star Wars 7: The Force Awakens and Episode 8, set for release in 2017, finding a new generation of fans. Kurt Gregory, NBC News.
She will certainly be missed. And now to that breaking news out of Southeast Charlotte, where CMPD is investigating the murder of a 4-year-old. Police say they responded to a call in the 7800 block of Timber Commons Lane around 9:30 on Christmas Eve night. When they got there, they found 4-year-old Maria Owens unresponsive. Medic took her to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. After investigating, police say they've determined the child was physically assaulted. 26-year-old DeMarcus Heath is now charged with her murder. We're told Heath is the child's mother's boyfriend. CMPD not releasing any more information at this time, but once we learn more, we'll pass it along to you. In Iredell County, deputies have arrested this man. His name is Gary Love. He was arrested on charges of murder and kidnapping. They were called to a Statesville home on Christmas Eve when a 14-year-old who lived there texted a friend that she needed help. At the house, officers spoke to Love, who told them that the mother and her daughter were at a funeral and then fled, but was caught behind the house. The deputies then searched the home and found the mother's body and the 14-year-old girl. We have a crew in Iredell County, and we will have a full report on this story on our news at 5 o'clock. Also developing tonight, a search across multiple states for a grandmother and her great-granddaughter. Let's go right out to NBC Charlotte's Rachel Brown, who's standing at NBC News Channel. Rachel, what do we know right now about this?
Well, Fred, we know 71-year-old Barbara Briley and 5-year-old Lamira were heading to Anson County here in North Carolina from New Jersey, but they never made it. Briley's daughter says the last time she spoke with her was while she was driving on Christmas Eve. They vanished after getting gas at a gas station somewhere in Virginia. One woman who spoke with them at that station says Briley was lost and went inside to ask for directions.
I spent probably about 30 minutes, 45 minutes with her in the store, you know, talking to her, trying to make sure everything was okay before she had left the store.
And that was the last time anyone's heard from them. Now law enforcement are searching hotels and hospitals, while the family is also helping to track them down. Family members say Briley has no known medical conditions, and they were last seen in a silver Toyota RAV4 with New Jersey license plates. If you see that car, know anything, call police immediately. I'm live at NBC News Channel. Rachel Brown, NBC Charlotte.
Rachel, thank you.
Turning now to your forecast, a foggy start to today. This video from uptown Charlotte. This is from earlier this morning. hard to see anything. There we go. Things started clearing up as the day went on. Meteorologist John Wendell joins us right now. John, how are we looking for the rest of this evening?
Well, I think we'll see a few clouds, and there might be a stray shower out there. But the thing is, it is warm out there. Temperature right now, 68 degrees here in Charlotte, 67 degrees in Rock Hill, 71 in Gastonia. But these are not record temperatures. Last year on this date, we were up to 72 degrees. Now, here's a look at your satellite picture. You can see a few clouds coming through and a few very light rain showers. One shower there moving through Gastonia, another one now down in parts of York County. They're moving to the east. So this evening, it'll continue to be mild. As a matter of fact, the next 2 days will be mild. But by the end of the week, it could get cold enough to where the mountains see a little bit of snow. And it looks like we see new rainfall moving in just in time for the new year. I'll talk about that when I come back, Beth.
Thanks so much, John. Now, while we're mild here, that is not the case in other parts of the country at this point.
Yeah, major winter storm wreaking havoc on holiday travel plans. NBC's Ron Mott reports.
Good day here from Chicago. This latest winter storm has spared the Windy City for the most part. It is dry, but much colder than it was yesterday. But elsewhere, this storm is packing a mighty punch. This morning, a familiar sound, digging out.
How the heck am I getting out of here?
After a winter wallop swallowed cars and surrounded homes, trapping families inside, snowdrifts so massive they blocked front doors, leaving a perfect imprint. A difficult back-to-work commute today across much of the northern plains. In North Dakota, blinding snow, wild wind, and near zero visibility on the roads. A 240-mile stretch of I-94 closed at one point. In Minnesota, this ice house broke through the frozen lake as temperatures plummeted. On the roads, forecasters warn up to half an inch of ice could freeze over. Travelers urged to bring extra flashlights, food, and water. And in Wisconsin, a dramatic rescue. 10 anglers left stranded after the ice sheet they were on broke away. Responders deploying an Ice Angel rescue boat to bring them back to shore. The forecast at airports, anything but merry the day after Christmas. Nearly 400 U.S. flights canceled Monday, more than 3,500 delayed. Passengers left stranded, laying on mats, waiting for answers. But for those who made it home, a winter wonderland for kids and dogs alike. Road travel could be treacherous today in the Pacific Northwest and the Dakotas. There could be some sporadic trouble spots in the eastern half of the country from Texas all the way up into Maine. That's the latest here in Chicago. Let's send it back to you.
Thank you, Ron. Right now at Charlotte Douglas, some things are running on a bit of a delay depending on where in the country your flight is going into. Airport officials still urging you to pay attention to your flight status and get to the airport 2 hours before your flight. And you can track the weather in our area with the NBC Charlotte Weathercaster app. There you'll find up-to-the-minute data right down to your neighborhood. It's a free download in your app store.
CMPD is working to figure out who robbed a Waffle House in South Charlotte overnight. We're told it happened around 3 o'clock this morning at the location on Arrowwood Road. 2 employees were inside at the time, but no customers were there. The suspects allegedly presented a weapon. No word on any leads that police might have in this case.
New details about an overnight shooting in East Charlotte. Police say just before 1 this morning, shots were fired at a home on Erskine Drive. That's just off of Shamrock Drive. One person inside the home at the time was not hurt. Police say it is clear the home was targeted. So far, no arrests have been made.
New details tonight surrounding the sudden death of pop superstar George Michael. Those close to him are now saying behind all that talent was a troubled soul. According to the Daily Telegraph, a friend says the singer was struggling with addiction and Michael found fame very hard to manage. One of his neighbors says that she saw him a few weeks ago at a restaurant and that he seemed a little off.
He was at the next table and he was very quiet, but he didn't look well, but he was with his friends.
Michael's longtime partner, Fadi Fawaz, tweeting out he discovered the singer on Christmas morning. The Daily Telegraph reporting today that Fawaz said, quote, everything had been complicated lately, but George was looking forward to Christmas. Fawaz did say he wants people to remember him the way that he was and that he was a beautiful person.
Crews working to gather what's left of the Russian plane that crashed into the Black Sea have found a flight recorder from that plane. It was flying from Sochi to Syria on Christmas Day when it crashed just 2 minutes after takeoff. Singers from Russia's world-famous military choir were on board on their way to perform at a Christmas concert for their troops. All 92 people on board died in the crash.
We have new proof tonight of the Berlin Christmas market attack suspect in Italy. Italian police say that surveillance cameras at Milan's Central Station captured footage of him just hours before he was shot dead. Police say he traveled from Germany through France to get to Italy after his truck rampage killed 12 people and hurt 56 others in Berlin.
Today is a day for the history books, with Japan's Prime Minister joining President Barack Obama at Pearl Harbor today. It marks the first time a Japanese Prime Minister has visited the memorial on the site of the attack in 1941. This visit comes 6 months after President Obama visited Hiroshima, the first sitting U.S. president to do so.
After a holiday break, the Trump team is now back at work. They are preparing for a battle to confirm cabinet nominees with Congress, and there are still some positions that need to be filled. This as President-elect Donald Trump tackles foreign policy and business conflicts via Twitter. The Trump Foundation controversy is creating a stir among critics who believe a conflict of interest is unavoidable.
There are going to be lots of people nipping at his heels at every part of this business empire that he refuses to divest from.
Analysts say Trump needs to completely separate himself from his for-profit business before he starts working on world affairs.
Coming up, an airline giving its crew members stun guns. Why officials say they need them.
And a massive mall fight ends with 7 teenagers arrested. Hear from an eyewitness who says it broke out into multiple altercations.
And a mother's will to see her family again saves them all. Hear from the woman who kept walking after almost 30 miles in the snow to find help.